Hey, 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 good afternoon, everybody. All right. It's been kind of a wild and crazy and wacky day, but we are back. So, I figured we'd show you where we were at as far as progress on our Meanwell power supply. We're going to work on it a little bit here today, and then go into some of the other stuff here, and get this. This will actually be finished up yet this week, good Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise too far. Good afternoon, Shell. Hey, Mr. Three Maid, what's going on, early? You know, I made 2 trips to downtown today, big guy. Both times I forgot to pick me up some more, so hopefully I got enough to last till tomorrow anyways. But anyhow, alright, so we finished up our other Bohemian, which was that 24 pill, get it out of the way. Went ahead, as far as on the wire loom here, for our AC going into the units, we're going to go ahead and put a little solder on those real quick, and then we're going to get this turned around. We're going to get some of the other cables and everything put in. And, I thought I would take a page from my buddy Mr. Adams, since it's been kind of a long day. We switched into our pajamas. Bear with me here, we're getting everything ready. You're sleepy now, huh? Well, buddy, you can't go to sleep yet. There is way too much work to be done. Oh. Alright, so what we've done for our AC is I've actually used Teflon wire instead of regular electrical wire, and part of it's the fact that I keep such a plethora of Teflon on hand. The other side of that too is it is silver plated, so it's kind of nice, you know, as far as on the overall to work with. But I'm going to go ahead and add a little solder here on the tips of these, just to make sure that there's no way that our AC can wiggle out of that. I'm not going to try to cram it full, but all we're going to try to do is just ensure our electrical bond, number one. Number two, to make sure that there is no way our AC wires can wiggle out. Now, it's one of those where it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, because in most cases they'll tell you not to do this on an AC wire, but I don't know too many people that don't. That's part of the reason why usually I'll just use a small amount of solder and I kind of wick it in there. Like I said, it's just more to ensure that we know we've got an electrical bond that, between all the different connections. Yeah, because we're not using just one single cable. You know, we've actually got multiples that go to each individual module. So, Early, what are you doing today? You gonna work down in the dungeon? I know you got stuff over there to build. I know last time we talked you were waiting on some parts, but I didn't know if you had enough to get started on any of your projects that you've got going on. I'll get this out of my way so I can read the comments a little easier. Hey, that's not bad at all. Quit vaping is fun. Oh, Lord. I know who that is. After a conversation we had the other day. Alright. So we didn't have black and white. We didn't have red and white. So what I've done for this project here, as you guys can see, I've used gray and white for my AC as far as on my 220 side. We're still going to do 220 as far as, or excuse me, a 110 on the breakdown on the other side, but we'll get to that here in a minute. So I just wanted to touch up these connections here, kind of go from there. I've been stopped a half a dozen times. Now, these are actually double lock netted on these two particulars. The reason why is because I'm using two standoffs or two extended studs here to go ahead and just hold my little clamps, just kind of hold my wiring in place. All right, so let's get this old girl turned around. These out of the way. I think. Grab the other cables. And our box of goodies. All right. So we're hydraulically crimped, we're soldered, both ends. Left one open just so that you guys can see that. Which I need to grab some heat shrink too while I think of that. All right, 3 Made, where'd you put it? I'll blame you. I got a small roll of that somewhere. So I'll try to use up some of what I had left over as far as pre-cut. It's in my left hand. Okay. I don't think I'm going to be able to use those big washers. Nope. Let's see if I've got some other smaller ones. Yeah, but it gets a little crazy there. Yeah, it would be faster, but I like it slow and steady. All right, so let me think here. Because I know those washers are just going to be too big. And the ones I've got are just one size too small, but we have a cure for that.
Try and cool off a little bit and we'll come back to it. We're just about through it. Under normal circumstances, I'd take this out to the other building, put it in the vise, and do it that way, but yeah, can't exactly take everything out there. Let that cool off and we'll go back to it. That way we can get the burr out. Yeah, they get a little warm. Yeah, that went well. Now see, that's fun. No, I don't have my 3-Made t-shirt on. I got one of my Harley shirts on today. Yeah, this little vise didn't grab super good, but it's not really intended for this type of project here either. Beautiful. Now let's get this out of the way and we'll deburr our now freshly made washers. Million tools, and you'd think I'd be able to go right to my file, but it's gotten buried under other tools. Dremel tool time. That'll be in your next box. Yeah, floor sweepings. Yeah, if you want some floor sweepings, I'll be happy to help you out. Yeah, we do that from time to time as well. As far as put the PJs on and call it a day. I ate some pizza that didn't agree with me earlier, so and these are a little more comfortable. Alright, so now that I've got those made, those on there, these out of the way for the moment. Well, it's a pajama party. Oh, by the way, Early, where you and I were speaking the other day, I took your advice on something. And as you can see, I've got numbers written all the way across on these, where I've went back and fired these up 2 or 3 different times, brought them up, took them down, brought them up, took them down. That actually did seem to stabilize these a lot more as far as on the preset for the voltages. So, granted, normally you would think that you would see that just on the small supplies, but even on, you know, these $400 modules, yeah, it's the same case. Now, these didn't have near the drift, but they still did change. So I thought I would kind of throw that at you, that, you know, you were right. But there's also a good, there's an old saying too that, you know, as iron sharpens iron, man sharpens man. So don't denote somebody else's way of thinking. Because they may have experienced something that you had never come across. All right. I think that nice big copper rail should handle 600 amps. Yes, you are good for something, buddy. Even if I use you for nothing more than a bad example. All right, so what we've got here, I went ahead and printed off a couple of sheets in relationship to what we're actually doing here. Now, earlier last week or the week before, because I've ordered parts off and on for this as it's been going on, because this is a little different and more unusual power supply than what I normally would build. So I ordered the special little connectors, and we actually had to make our own little plugs for this. Now, I've checked, rechecked, double checked, and quadruple checked. The only thing I haven't done is had somebody else physically look at it. So what I've done is went ahead and set this all up. We went ahead and got all the wiring done so we can go from module to module for the load sharing as well as for the voltage. Now, one of the things that they did recommend whenever I went through and read this, and that's where I'm going to go back to my numbers that I've got here. Okay, we went ahead and went back and made sure that all these are actually preset to the same voltage. Now, even with the sense that this thing has, they're still recommending that you have them within a certain tolerance. So we went ahead and tried to set our tolerances as absolute close as what we can. So where the B&K voltmeter that I've got actually goes 3 places out on the decimal, I got it as close to the 14.48. That way it should read 14.5 when we're done. The reason why is this last number, you know, if it was like 14.4, you know, 7.9, 7.8, you know, we tried to keep it within 2 100ths as far as across the settings. That way it's easier for the modules themselves to go ahead and set it up. Now I've got this tag here intentionally offset. The reason why is because whenever I'm done, I'll actually make a special label for this one. This one's actually going to be our slave unit. So that's the one that everything's going to be based off of. So let's get our reading glasses on, because it's much easier seeing it on the computer than it is on this little paper. It should go from port 2 to port 1, port 2 to port 1. And so on and so forth. Or what they're saying is connection 1 to connection 2, or connection 2 to connection 1. And I did order the cables as far as the red, the blue, and the orange. I did have those actually pre-made for me and print, which had I realized that they weren't going to make these exactly the way I wanted them, and actually actually insert them into the plug for me so that there was no mistakes, and I had somebody else to play the blame game on. Unfortunately, they didn't do that, so we had to actually take it upon ourselves and do that. And I still had to make up another cable, which we'll show you that here in just a minute. So 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 back to 1. Hello, Charles. What's going on, buddy? All right. I made this one exceptionally long. Now, since they recommended for noise suppression on the current and voltage sense, since they actually recommended to do what's called twisted pair, I went ahead and dug through all the ferrites and stuff I had, and I found this small little ferrite bead. So we actually went ahead and put a ferrite bead on this as well, just as a little extra precaution. So
That's also the reason why, since we had to make these cables up ourselves, I went ahead and did twisted pairs on each one of these as well. Yeah, I got the radio on listening to these guys here, as far as the locals. Where'd you go, 3? I can double check. I know they're all tight, but just in case, because I have had Qantas interrupt us here over the last several days. So. This is the reason why we double check our work. I don't like the way that one works at all. Okay. ready to go to the next stage. Yeah, grilled cheese is good. I'll give you that. So apparently you must be eating dinner. I'm not going to make that real tight just yet. I want to get all these on there and kind of see how things are going to run, and then we'll go back and tighten them up. Although these are still load sharing, we still went ahead and kept with the same essential formula that you would for your 30, 40, 50 amp normal modules, which is keeping everything the same length. And even though we're using a conductor bar here to help share the load, granted, we're just pulling off of these three.
Yep. Good evening. I believe that's Brian, if I remember right. There we go. And you guys can see a little bit more of the project here as we're going along. All right. Let's see how those are going to come away. Now we'll go back. Take these down. You gotta love copper, guys. Especially when you polish it up, man. It's sexy, sexy, sexy.
Hmm. There we go. Well, Mr. Black, I'm glad that you were able to find a method to quit vaping. I'm still on the hunt of mine to quit as well, and chewing, that is. Leave it to you, buddy. Leave it to you. Oh, jeez, oh, Pete's. All right. 2 more to go. big as these things are, I'm surprised that they don't give us just a little more room, but I don't think they ever intended for us to build in this configuration either. Alright.
Yeah, these are the fun projects. So are you going to work in the shop tonight, 3Mate, or are you going to sit there and loaf? Because like I said, I know you're waiting on parts. Dum, 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 dum. All right. You guys are getting quiet on me. Now I move a lot faster with questions and comments, and answers, especially answers. More so than the comments 3Mate. So who's ready for one of these? The slave is actually going to be this one down here on the end. That's the reason why I've got the tag. It's already pre-marked with the 14.8, but I'm actually going to remove this tag, and it'll get reprinted with the voltage, and it'll be denoted specifically as slave when this is all said and done. What's the little transformer? That is a very good question. Okay, the little transformer that you're seeing here is actually a step-down transformer, early. A step-down transformer takes the 220 volts in, and they actually recommend it. Now, I could have probably cheated and come off of one leg of the 220, but we've got these real cute little volt and amp meters that require voltage. Well, they don't use a typical 12 volt DC. They actually run on 110. So we've got to have 110 volts for our step down in order to run the meters. Like I said, it may seem like quite a waste because of how we could just tap off and, like I said, create the 110 that we actually need as a requirement, but the manufacturers recommended, so we went off the manufacturer's recommendations using an isolated step-down transformer. So that is the reasoning for that. How am I turning it on? Well, with a switch, actually a relay, or a breaker, I should say. So this is going to be our primary on-off switch, which also doubles as our AC protectant. Each one of these modules still have the original fuses in them. Unfortunately, this does not have its own fuse. I'd asked them about it as far as whenever they wanted it built, and they said it would be fine. So, against my better judgment, this is going to be non-fused,
other than through the circuit breaker. That's the only thing that it's actually going to have as far as to break the make or break the current, at least at this point. And here are shunt that we're installing. This actually has a locking washer on it, so we're not going to have to worry about that ever coming loose. The flat washer, we couldn't use the original one because it was just too big and was going to hit our connectors, so we just used the flat washer basically so that the lock washer doesn't chew up or destroy our connector here. Now this one is kind of unique because of the fact that this particular amp meter that we're using, that's something else too that's kind of different, is the fact that the amp meter itself actually uses the positive wire for the shunt. Instead of using the normal, the normal negative wire that most of us use, where we use little, basically $20. You can buy them on eBay or what have you for the low volt amp meters. Let's see. Just for example, this one here. These are actually designed to run on the negative side. So, it actually gets its information off of the negative side, where this one here runs on the positive rail instead of the negative. So that's another one of those wonderful things whenever you're sitting there looking at the paperwork and questioning yourself, did I do this right? I even called the manufacturer on these guys just to make sure. And sure enough, that's the way it was. So, like I said, that really throwed me for a little bit. From what I've understood, it was a heck of a set of meters. It better be. They were around $100 a piece. And we got that part. Now for the part that I've been dreading. Not quite, but we're almost there.
looking at that towards me. Where was that?
So there's a couple connectors for that.
Oh yeah. Still ain't keep working. Keep going. Candlestick, that's what you snoozed this afternoon. Got back in this morning for a little bit. I went and took care of the animals outside. I turned the radio on the garage. I didn't hear nobody.
Charles, are you still in there, buddy? Mr. Hood? Charles Hood. Paging Charles Hood. You still out there, buddy?
Real good. Okay. Okay.
If he's still in there or not.
Pretty good for you. You know where I'm from.
Not make this for fat fingers.
Yeah, you're getting about on that, so I'm getting about 9 pounds. About 9 pounds. You gotta start saving that money right there where you're talking. But, like the brown thing, that's a 9. You got it. Yes, if you always okay, I say you got it. Well, that's great. Real good.
Just checking on the cat. Well, I'm glad that the cat's doing a whole lot better. I know that was kind of a unforeseen moment.
You got the car?
I didn't know if you'd heard from Mr. Hood or not. I was going to ask him how his little 2-pill was working out for him, which I know he decided to go a little bit bigger. In case you guys are wondering, this is just a 0.1 UF capacitor across the terminals. This is actually to help keep the again, this is another little bleeder, essentially to help keep the RF out of the current sense and the voltage sense. That's the reason why that's in there. Especially since we know that this is going to be in an RF application. Let's get some of this stuff here out of my way. And because we're ready for the next phase. Fun time, fun time.
Probably somebody down the road.
I've been running errands all day, guys, so it's kind of nice to actually do this for a little bit and unwind.
Oh, I got about 7 on you. On that list.
Just quit dropping screws, it'll be all right.
Where are you at? Yeah, it ain't breaking up on you. Sound okay.
Well, we got our first piece hung. And only what, 50 more to go? That's the way it always seems, even if there is only 4 sides on a box. Or rather a square, I should say. Mr. Black, did you go to the kitchen and fix you something to eat too, buddy? Or you still in there visiting with us? All right. Just debating top or bottom. It's always $1 million question. Oh, you're the only one there. Okay. Yeah, it shows 8 people watching, but only one's participating. Hi, Harry Houdini. I'll loosen these up. There we go. You're hanging on the side. Well, you're supposed to be in here talking, asking questions. How are you going to learn? One of these is a little tighter than the other. Figure out which one's too tight. feeling something twisted. Alrighty. It's just not wanting to pop in there. Alright. I'll tell you what, guys, because of where I'm going to have to sit this down on the floor and fight with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, and then I'll get the cabinet put together as far as on the outside, then I'll come back. If not today, I'll do it tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and finish up the rest of the wiring. So, guys, I appreciate you popping in for the visit. Let's see, power supplies. Yeah, yes, they do. But, all right, guys, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick standby. Like I said, that way I can go ahead and get this down on the floor, because it's going to be too hard to actually show you guys anything because of where I have to set the camera, and I don't have a whole lot of workspace in here. So we'll catch you guys here after a while. I appreciate it. We'll catch you after a bit. Thanks for watching, everybody. So we'll figure out what the heck's going on.